This is Brent with Lykins Motorsports, and we are looking at a pair of 65 AEF. These are 427 medium riser heads, and I want to use these to go over some things today. I thought I would start maybe a basic engine building assembly series, just showing how to do different things and talk about different aspects and procedures of building engines. Over the last few videos, we've done a lot of videos doing cylinder head assembly, installing valve springs and adjusting valve springs heights and things like that. So I thought it may be worthwhile to go ahead and do a video revolving around valve spring install heights and what that is and how to measure and that sort of thing. So what I typically do is when I go through and measure the valve spring, I'll write the number on the valve cover rail of the head, and that's just so I can keep track of what it is and what the previous one was, and I can look between the two and see what maybe I need to do to close it up or open it up. But essentially, valve spring install height is the length of the valve spring as it's installed, and that length is between whatever the valve spring is sitting on, whether it be the bare head or a spring shim or a cup or a locator, and the valve spring retainer itself. So what we are doing, we are just changing the length of this spring to suit our application. You can measure valve spring install height several different ways, and I'll go over those different ways. If you're in a bind and you don't have any other tools, you can use a machinist rule if you have a good clear access to the valve spring locator or to the cylinder head or whatever you have the spring sitting on. And let me interject real quick that on a cast iron head, it's generally okay for the spring to sit on the head if the spring pressure is low. I usually don't recommend that unless it was set up that way from the factory. On an aluminum head, you absolutely do not want the spring to sit on bare aluminum, as it will chew it up and wear it out over time. So you need a hardened seat, locator, cup, or something underneath of it. But if you're okay, so if we eliminate the valve spring from the picture, we get a pretty clear idea or illustration of what we're doing. We're going in between this valve spring locator and the bottom of the retainer where the spring sits. If you're strapped for time or tools or don't have the money to buy tools, you can usually get a pretty good indicator of what your install height is by using something like this machinist rule. And with the spring mic, I measure this to be 1960. So, you know, you can get a pretty good idea of where you stand. You can also use your depth gauge on your calipers and run this up to the bottom of the retainer and get a measurement that way. My preferred, let me also say that you can use a snap gauge in between these two. You snap them together, or you snap the gauge, pull it out, measure it with a set of calipers or a mic or something like that. My preferred method is to use a spring micrometer, and these come in all different kinds of lengths. This one I think goes to 1/800. This one goes to well over 2 inches for big springs. Have one for beehive springs, and then I have this little feller for real small stuff like modular Ford valve springs. But this is my preferred method of measuring install height. And the reason that is because when you start to stack shims underneath your locator, what happens is your locator wants to, it's almost like a spring washer effect. The locator doesn't sit down hard against the cylinder head, and you don't get an accurate measurement until you use this, which essentially works like a screw. And when you screw it down, it puts force down against the locator and the retainer, and it spreads it apart and gives you a much more accurate reading. So this one is set for, I think, goes to 1/800, and you can see there's 4 and there's 5, and you just unscrew it like a screw. There's 600, and it goes on up. So when you essentially put this on, it sits on the locator, the retainer sits on top, you put the valve locks on, then you unscrew it, and you can see what your install height is. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate real quick. So that's showing 1/700, 1/800, 1/900, and I'm showing 1/950 and about 2 or 3. So that's what I had written down on my head. And as you can see, I put quite a bit of force when I unscrewed this, forcing the locator and any shim that I have underneath there down. All right, so let's talk about what affects the valve spring install height. The first thing that will affect it is the locator or your spring cup. These are typically 60 thousandths thick. There are a few oddballs that are a little bit thinner or thicker, but generally you can count on these being 60 thousandths thick. Obviously, if it is thinner or thicker, that will change the free length of your valve spring. Valve spring shims change your install height. So we are at 1/952 here. If I put this 60 thousandths shim under my locator and then tried it again, you would see something like 1/892. So it changes it by the thickness of the valve spring shim. That allows us to really dial in plus or minus 15 thousandths because your thinnest valve spring shims are 15 thousandths. So allows you to dial in what your valve spring install height is. The other thing that affects it is your spring retainer. And these are made in different ways. For instance, look at how shallow this retainer is in the center, and then look at how deep this one is, and then look how much deeper this one is. So just by the nature of this valve spring retainer, the install height is going to be 100 thousandths taller than if I used it with this steel valve spring retainer. So all of your retainers are generally available in what they call a standard height or a plus 100 thousandths height. And the majority of your titanium retainers are going to be like that. Manly and just a few other manufacturers will offer these in different heights, and that kind of helps you dial in your install height as well. So your valve locks will also change your install height. And if you notice, I have 3 bags of comp cams valve locks. They're all for 11/32 valve stems. But if you notice, I picked up two of the same bags. But if you look right here, it says minus 50 thousandths. So if you compare this lock to, I think it's 611, which is a standard lock, this valve lock will shorten your spring by 50 thousandths of an inch. If you look at this one, plus 50 thousandths. Likewise, if you use these locks, it would lengthen the install height of your spring by 50 thousandths in comparison to a standard lock. What you have to look out for though, is when you use these, it raises your spring retainer up quite a bit higher, and sometimes you get into some rocker arm clearances or something like that. So the other thing that plays into this is your spring pad, and in most situations there's really not much you can do about that. There's a lot of stuff underneath the spring pad, and when you start cutting down deeper to change your install height, you could get into a situation where you cut down and make it too thin, or get into some stuff that you don't want to get into. The last thing is your valve length. So if you can imagine, this is a standard length FE valve. It's 5/450. If we added 100 thousandths to this, and the tip length stayed the same, and the groove location stayed the same, then the retainer would be 100 thousandths higher, which would change the install height of your spring. First of all, your install height correlates directly with your seat pressure. Springs are rated at seat pressure, open pressure, and they always have a spring constant that's associated with it. That'll be listed as like 350 pounds per inch or something like that. So when a cam company or a spring manufacturer gives you a spec, and I'll put some of these up on the screen, they will list the install height of the spring and the associated seat pressure with it. So seat pressure plays into a lot of different things. You want enough seat pressure to keep the valve seated and not make it bounce off the valve seat. Seat pressure keeps all your valve train in a tight spec, in a tight harmony, so that it doesn't bounce or float or cause valve train instability. So you will have a seat pressure, and that seat pressure will vary depending on whether you have a hydraulic flat tappet, a solid flat tappet, a hydraulic roller, or a solid roller. So if you used a solid roller spring in place of where the valve spring should be for your hydraulic flat tappet cam, then you're going to end up with something like 200 pounds or 250 pounds, or like I run on some of my real high-end engines, almost 400 pound seat, and that will wipe out a hydraulic flat tappet cam in an instant. So the valve spring seat pressure depends on the install height, and the install height is adjusted by everything that we have outlined so far: the valve length, the retainer, the locks, the locator, the shims. So the seat pressure, along with the spring rate and the lift of the cam, give you open pressure. So let's just do a calculation, for example. So the spring rate for these springs are about 354 pounds per inch. We have these installed at 1960, and at this install height, the seat pressure is 160 pounds. So our cam lift is 630 thousandths lift. So if we multiply our lift by our spring rate, that is how much pressure is going to be added to the seat pressure under lift, 223 pounds. if I add that to the seat pressure of, say, 160 pounds, then our open pressure is going to be 383 pounds or thereabouts. So if you have the install height and you know the seat pressure at that install height, and you have the cam lift and you have the spring rate, then you can do some calculations and see where you will be on open pressure. And this is really handy if you're starting from scratch. You have a blank sheet of paper for a new build. And I do this often. I'll have a specific cylinder head, and I'll have to go through spring manufacturer catalogs and see which spring is going to work for my application. Okay, let's do some practical examples here. So this is a Comp Cams. This is a sheet out of a Comp Cams valve spring catalog. I use a lot of these 930 springs. They're really good hydraulic roller springs for small block Fords and FEs. Let's take a look at some of the spring specs here. So the outside diameter of the spring is 1/550. This is the inside diameter of the outer spring. This is the inside diameter of the inner spring, and that's pretty handy when you're picking out retainers and locators. The Y just means it has a damper spring with it. So this spring is 150 pounds at 1/900 install height. Okay, and at 650 lift, so 900 minus 250 is 650. So at 650 lift, it's 300 and roughly 80 pounds of open pressure. At coil binds at 1/160. So we know that at 650 lift, it's going to be around 380 pounds. What happens if you use this with a 600 lift cam? Well, 600 versus 650 is 50 thousandths difference. So let's do some calculations. Our spring rate is 354 pounds. So 354. And we said our cam lift is 600. Okay, so that portion of the spring pressure is 212 pounds. And if our springs are set up at 1/900, and we're going to have 150 pounds of seat pressure there, then we can add 150 pounds of spring pressure for our seat to the calculation that we made. So at 650 lift, this was going to be 380 pounds, but at only 600 lift cam, we're only dealing with 362 pounds. Okay, so you can make your calculations based on what your cam is set up for. Okay, in the same token, what would happen if we installed this spring at, say, 1/800? Okay, it's 100 thousandths difference. So 100 thousandths times 354 pounds is going to be about 35 pounds. So it's going to add 35 pounds to our install height, which would give us about 190 pound seat. So that may be a little bit of an extreme calculation, but you can see how you can make, small calculations. Say, this spring is pretty close to what I need, but my cam is maybe a little bit less lift, or my install height is a little bit shorter, and you can make the necessary calculations. So look at all these different springs, and this is a very, very small portion of springs that you can get between Manley and Pack and Comp Cams and Isky and PSI and all these other different manufacturers. So, you choose your spring by install height. So for this head, we're looking at a general install height of 1/950. Something like this is not going to work because, we're going to be adding almost 200 thousandths shorter install height than what this spring is listed for. I was looking for a smaller, must not be on this page, but there are springs for 1/600 install heights and 1/700. So all this plays into which valve spring we need to use and what application is going to be used for. So that was probably a quick and very basic rundown, but like I said in the beginning of the video, I intend to have some very basic, maybe engine assembly videos, so that somebody starting out can get a good idea of what's going on, or what this means, or what I'm talking about when I say this term, or whatever. So if you think this is going to be helpful for future topics, then by all means tell me that it's, you know, if you think it's going to be helpful. If you don't, then tell me I need to shut up and go on to something else. So I will try to meet the needs of the audience, but that's the gist of it. So I hope that helps. And as always, if you enjoy these videos, I appreciate the support. Subscribers keep on climbing, and that helps everybody. It helps me support my family. So I appreciate that very much. But I encourage you to subscribe and hit that like button. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your support. Y'all have a good week.